Are you ready to watch some of the very best women athletes in the world? Let's make a little noise in Cowtown and start it off with a barrel race.
In the Cowtown Coliseum in the historic Fort Worth Stockyards, we have seen careers be made, careers be changed.
Are you ready to see some cowgirls tonight, Texas? Let's make a little noise. Well, welcome to the most iconic rodeo venue in all the world.
Of course, the barrel racing showdown, that's going to go all the way to AT&T Stadium.
Yes, they're seated into AT&T Stadium.
These ladies are tough.
Kind of interesting that the challengers got a little bit faster than the pro gals.
So let's get it on with the fastest horse race in AT&T Stadium.
They will be roping it out to see who can make it to AT&T Stadium. The journey is not over yet.
Well, if that does not get you excited for the Women's Rodeo World Championship, I don't know what will. As we come to you live from the historic Fort Worth Stockyards, we're getting you ready for day number 1 of exactly that event. I'm Katie Lucas, here with my co-host for the week, Jordan Jo Hollabaugh. Of course, a renowned competitor yourself, Jordan, multiple times to the national finals of breakaway roping, 2020 aggregate champion there as well, host of In the Loop podcast. But it is an exciting week for us. I'm excited to have you as a co-host, but I know you're excited for just what this week means for women in rodeo.
The atmosphere is electric at the Cowtown Coliseum right now. It's jam-packed full of the best women competitors in the world in rodeo. We've said it all week long, 802,000 reasons for you to be here in Cowtown every single year. This is the 4th year of women's in rodeo. And you know what? The WRWC does such a phenomenal job of putting this event together, working their butts off all year long for us to get to be here to compete at a stage like this. It's phenomenal.
You're working hard this week, too. You're actually a part of this in 2 different ways. You're my co-host here on the pre-show, and then you're going to change really quickly and get ready to go rope. How exciting is it to be a part of it in both ways?
It's surreal to me. You know, I was sitting over here back and asking Lindsay Sumter, I'm like, are they breakaway roping yet? So I'm in section 2. I'm really excited about it. But it's something that I am honored to be here to talk about women in rodeo and just share what we love and what we get to do each and every day.
All right, let's do exactly that. We're going to kick things off by sharing the format for you so you know what you're watching all week long. We're going to start off by featuring the top 20 on the leaderboard plus the qualifiers, and then this is where it gets interesting. Top 2 in each go-around, and then top 8 in the aggregate will move on to the semifinals. Jordan Jo, how interesting is that to have 2 different ways to qualify in?
So what I love about this format is it basically gives you a chance no matter what. You have a chance in the round. If you go out in the aggregate, you can come back in the second round. They take the top 2 in each round, the top 8 in the aggregate. So it gives every roper and every kind of style a chance at the end of the day. And that's what we're after, is chances, because we're going for AT&T and the big bucks there.
Yes, and there is one competitor that has won more big bucks in the WRWC than anyone else, and that is Martha Angeloni. 7 times now she's won either an event or a world championship from 2022 to 2024. All the way back in 2022, she was the breakaway event champion. In 23, she was the heading and all-around champ. 24, the all-around champion. But from 22 to 24, she was your undefeated world champion as well.
She was, and the WRWC has been such an iconic place for Martha. It's really, I want to say, the house that built Martha. She was able to win this event and buy her 2 great horses, Jessie and Legend, from the winnings of this event a few years ago, and it really set her up. Then she went on to win the world title that year. It was amazing. So we're seeing Martha right here. She's just a winner all the time, and you watch these telestrations. This was her last year at AT&T. One of the things that I love that Martha does great is she brings her rope up so high right there. You can see, which gives her amazing body position. She's looking at that calf. She's ready to take her throw. One more swing, and she's got him roped right there, tied around the neck. Within, I think she was a 1.96 in this run, and you can see back here on this replay, you're going to watch it, at like 1.7, she had it on this calf. And so that her horse stops right there. It makes it a phenomenal run. And it's just, it makes it happen fast, and that's what makes Martha a winner.
She's such a strong roper, too. She's got a quicker swing, and as you said, really gets her arm up, gets things going right away. So that allows her to be sub 2 seconds because she is ready right from that first swing. Instead of that first one picking up kind of high and needing to drive it down, she is ready from the moment she's hitting the line.
Yeah, at any time you can win. And here we watch Amy Ward. She won this event last year here at AT&T. She came back. Josie Connor, she's another phenomenal girl to watch here, riding Horse of the Year Dutch. You know, she's a force to be reckoned with at all times. You know, just each and every person. Cheyenne McCartney, she won 9,500 yesterday at the Cowgirl Gathering, so she's got a lot of momentum. Sarah Angeloni right there. And so all these names are huge. Every girl wants to be at the Women's Rodeo World Championships. That's the place to be. That's why you see all these names: Kelsey Domer, Jackie Crawford, Sarah Angeloni, Madison Uthier. We're going to talk about her in a little bit. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Titans match up with our younger competitors, with our more amateur competitors in the game that are just trying to make a name for themselves. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about on the other side of the break. More of the notable names in the WRWC. And we're also going to have a great visit with the commissioner of the Women's Rodeo World Championship. Lindsay Rosser-Sumter is going to join us on the other side of this break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more.
Nothing's
We're back on our pre-show for day number 1 of the Women's Rodeo World Championship. I'm Katie Lucas here with Jordan Joe Hollabaugh. And Jordan, I'm excited to be a part of the show. You're excited to compete as well, but we've got someone else that's going to join us right now that I know is extremely excited about this event.
We have somebody I like to call rodeo royalty. She's from California. I don't know if you know her, but the WRWC commissioner, Miss Lindsay Rosser-Sumter. Welcome to the show today.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I love Fort Worth. It kind of feels like home, away from home anymore. I feel like I'm here all the time. So.
And we planned this patriotic act here.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Red, white, and blue. No big deal.
Absolutely.
Canadian side is represented over on this side, too.
No partiality there. Talk to us about what this week means to you. You guys have been planning and literally when it's got over last year on Saturday evening, you had already started planning for 2025. So talk us through what that's been like.
Absolutely. And we've implemented a few changes for Women's Rodeo World Championship a little bit this year. We included a new classification with the limited. We included the Smarty goat tying showcase, which I'm super excited about. We do start planning the day after this event's over. We're $802,000 this year. With the inclusion of the limited, we're close to 400 athletes, and it's just so exciting. It takes a team, it takes a village to make all this happen. You know, our partners with WCRA and the PBR are the parent companies of Women's Rodeo Championship, and just with their support, you know it's going to become to the next level. We had a beautiful back number ceremony last night at Tana Hills, thanks to Tito's and the Cowgirl Magazine. Just to celebrate the lady athletes is our main goal. You know, Women's Rodeo World Championship wants to be that inclusive environment for not only professionals like you, Jordan, but for Sally Mae, who's just going to a few local jackpots, maybe a rodeo or two, maybe just the 4D barrel races, and wants to come have that opportunity to run at AT&T. And that is exactly what Women's Rodeo Championship is all about.
You're truly about creating more avenues and opportunities for women. What kind of growth have you been able to sit back and see over the last 4 years? I'm sure it's night and day from year one to now.
Well, I've been commissioner, this would be 4. I got to compete at the first 2 Women's Rodeo Championships, and then since then I've been commissioner. But just to watch the change in the athleticism of the athletes, the breakaway roping has gotten so much more popular in the last 5 years. This is our 6th year, and then giving that platform to the female team ropers, it's crazy. I mean, the growth just with people needed to know what women's rodeo was. We were new kid on the block. They needed to understand the virtual rodeo qualifier and how you get qualified to women's, because it's not go to a couple events and you can get in there. Yeah, we have the qualifier series and that's generally how it works, but you can nominate any rodeo that you're going to, any jackpot that you're going to, as long as we can get verification from the secretaries of the results. We can make any event your event to help you get to Women's Rodeo World Championship. Our goal is to make everybody within Women's Rodeo a household name, and that's the plan.
I love that. So you talked about recognizing the reigning champions. Let's go ahead and recognize a few of those right now, starting with the young gun from last year, Amy York, the 19-year-old that beat the veterans in Arlington. How exciting was it to see a competitor jump out there and win it like her?
Well, my favorite part was her horse bucked after she was 1-7 or whatever to win the round. But Amy is one of those cowgirls that has taken advantage of the WCRA youth division, and so she's been on major platforms across the country.
You've seen her coming, then.
You see her coming. We knew what she was. She has so much talent, and you know, she's a quiet girl. You can't hardly get a lot out of her, but when she backs in the box, it's ice water and fire coming out of her, you know.
All right, moving on to our next competitor that walked away with the title last year, your barrel racing champion, Kendall Scruggs. What I love, I read a story about how she used her victory there last year to launch her full-time barrel racing career. She quit her job because of the money that she won there.
Yeah, she did, and her horse handled the ground at AT&T so well. You know, she's an IPRA cowgirl. She's been to the IPRA finals quite a few times, and like you said, this one rodeo changed her life.
Well, and Keely Walls is somebody, we were joking a little bit earlier. She's on the free riders team for Kid Rock Rodeo. She came
rivalry going on.
Little rivalry,
right,
no big deal, Missy Mountain. But Keely Walls, she's a great competitor. She came in last year. Now she's a pro this year. And so that's really neat to watch everybody advance and get to keep on moving up the pedestal.
Small town girl from Nebraska shows up in Fort Worth, Texas, wins probably over $50,000 a week. You know, this week last year between Women's Rodeo Championship, we're the only other organization besides the PBR that gives cash bonuses to our world champions. All around's a $20,000 cash bonus. The breakaway challenger and pro, team roping, barrel racing, all of those classifications all get a $5,000 bonus. She got that world championship last year.
Now, these are all names that sort of launched their careers or were kind of new in the rodeo game, but this is a name the rodeo world knew very well, and I think just speaks to the depth of competitors at the WRWC when you've got someone like Cheyenne Wimberly, multi-time NFR qualifier, that is going to put her name in the hat.
Yeah, and you know, she rode that horse and won the whole event. It was a 5-year-old then, but she's ridden so many different horses. You never really know exactly what she's going to ride because she's that talented of a jockey, veteran, been to the NFR. It's fun to see her come back and really gravitate towards the Women's Rodeo Championship because she doesn't have to go down the road.
Yeah, it definitely was an exciting victory back in 2023. She'll be back for more this year, but these competitors are ones that we're also excited to watch as well. Madison Uthier, we're going to talk about her a little bit later on the show because she's got a lot of reasons to celebrate right now. How could we leave out Jackie Crawford, Larry D. Guy, Kenna Francis? What an exciting win last year as well. It's really fun to see these women come together and clash at AT&T.
Oh, yeah, and it's exciting. There's 30,000 people, the smoke and the lights. And we try to set up that whole event to make them successful. I bring extra cattle in so that everybody can make a practice run, so you don't have those almost awkward jitters as a contestant to be backed in the box and not know what it's going to feel like. You're going to know the feel. You don't know what it feels like to have that many people watching you, but you'll understand the concept of the arena setup.
Yeah, it all comes down to creating those opportunities for women in rodeo. Lindsay, thank you for all that you do to do exactly that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We've got more on the other side of this break. We're going to talk about generations of our rodeo crew. That's coming up next on our Women's Rodeo World Championship pre-show.
Imagine going
Well, I mentioned before the break, many reasons to celebrate right now, and that is Madison Uthier. We wanted to give a huge congratulations to her. She got her bachelor's degree in business admin, majoring in marketing, minoring in entrepreneurship, and she also received an international business certificate as well. This happened just a few days ago, Jordan Joe, but I love seeing these competitors out there that can balance both their rodeo life and a life outside of the rodeo world, and even sometimes, like you, combining the two, but for them it's all for the love of rodeo.
It is, and Maddie does a great job of that. She is a true competitor in and out of the arena. She loves to compete. She loves to win. Her family first comes foremost. She, getting her degree was a huge priority for her, and so out there on the rodeo road last year, she'd be doing homework, and I have to take a test, I need a trade here, and so it was really neat to see her follow her dream, pursue that goal. It's a really, the curriculum at A&M is tremendous. And so very proud of her for accomplishing that and just everything she's went through this year.
Yeah, she works so hard at it and also represents a multi-generation rodeo cowgirl, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about now. Competitors that have multiple generations competing at the WRWC finals here, starting off with the Perkins family. It's actually a trio of competitors we're talking about here.
Yeah, so we've got a mom and two daughters competing here, and isn't it so neat to think all three of them could be making it back to AT&T to compete for the big money at $60,000 on Saturday, and so it's really neat to see. Growing up, my mom and my sister and I, we all roped together, and it was a family affair. And so it is surreal when you win something with your family. You know that as well.
Yeah, I've even had a chance to rope with your mom, too. But I love seeing this combination. Shanna's going to be competing in the team roping and barrel racing. And then daughter Kayla is in the team roping and barrel racing. Caitlin, though, she is going to be very busy. She's a pro header, a challenger heeler. She's in the limited barrels, and she's a challenger in the breakaway roping. Her slate is full.
She's going all out. She's going to need a caddy this week to take care of all of her stuff and get all her horses in the order. So it's just really neat to see, and that's just another testament to WRWC and giving us these platforms to compete for everybody in the family.
Yeah, and there's several families that are doing exactly that. We have a mother-daughter duo in the barrel racing, Kate and Laura Moat. Of course, Laura is the 2023 WRWC World Champion barrel racer. She's also a past arena record holder, too. So do not look away when the Moat ladies enter the arena, because they could be coming for the win.
Well, and I got to watch Kate and Laura back there in the back last year when Laura came away with this title. And Kate is so included in everything that she does. Kate was telling me on these horses, they share them. She said she definitely shares better than Laura does, in the family. But they're also riding a horse that Bobby has headed on, is one Kate's riding, and it's a fraternity horse that they own. And then Laura's riding another horse that Reliance Ranch owns, so it's pretty neat.
Yeah, coming up after the break, we're going to continue this celebration of multi-talented female rodeo athletes. That's coming up when we come back on our WRWC pre-show.
Don't you hate that dirty old hose? It kinks, splits.
I don't remember picking up a rope for the first time. I grew up in the household where practice equals perfect, and the more you practice, the better you are. You rope the dummy 100 times before going to bed, and you catch it every time, or you start over at 1. I was roping a lot.
Before Taylor Munsell became a staple at the top of the breakaway world standings, she was a team roper. She practiced and competed so much as a kid that a shoulder injury almost ended her career before it even began.
I was playing basketball, and that's where I really started to notice it. I could tell a perfect shot because it comes off your fingertips. And then I started not being able to feel the shot come off my fingertips type of deal. And that's really where I started to notice it. We started going to doctors, and of course doctors were like, you're a girl. Girls don't have these issues. Girls don't develop this kind of muscle. They can't have this. We end up going to the thoracic doctor in Oklahoma City. He lifts my arm above my head, feels for my pulse, and it instantly loses my pulse. And he's like, yeah, this is bad. He said, going forward, you could throw a blood clot, you could lose your arm, you could have a stroke, like it could cause a lot of things. The diagnosis of what I had was thoracic outlet syndrome.
2 weeks after graduating high school and 2 months before going to college on a full-ride rodeo scholarship, Munsell went into surgery to save the future of her roping career.
They put me under, they went in through my armpit, they cut into my chest, they took out the top rib on the right side, debrided a bunch of torn up pec muscle from rubbing on the top rib, and then they also did a rotator cuff repair while they were in there. I woke up and he came in and he asked me how I was doing, and I said, I feel like I got in a knife fight and I ran 200 steers. He said, well, you did get in a knife fight and I won and you lost. I was not so much worried about rodeo because breakaway wasn't a pro rodeo sport at the time, or pro rodeo event, but I was on a full ride rodeo scholarship and I couldn't afford college without that scholarship.
Stockton Graves, the rodeo coach at Northwest Oklahoma State University, upheld Munsell's scholarship despite the injury, but he asked that she focus on breakaway roping rather than team roping. Munsell had to relearn how to use her shoulder and how to master a new event. She returned to roping just 6 weeks after surgery rather than waiting the doctor's recommended 6 months to a year. Working out and having shorter, more intentional practice sessions in the arena helped make this possible. Nothing would stop her from entering rodeos.
One of the best things that happened to me was going to an amateur rodeo, and I was hauling with a guy from Alva. His name's Joe McCubry, and he had had an issue where he had had a surgery or something, an injury, and they said, all you'll ever be is about 75% or something. And that's what the doctors had told me with mine. They said, you'll only ever be 75%. That's your best you'll ever be with your shoulder. And he said, yeah, they're talking about the average person, and you aren't average. That just opened my mind so much to it, and that just didn't put a ceiling on my capability at all. With my shoulder, I don't think I'll ever be 100%. There's tons of issues with it still, aches and pains and still nerve damage and whatnot. I still don't have full feeling in the arm. It's constant that I do rehab. I still work with the same physical therapist. I have a massage therapist. I go to the trainers and rodeo sports med at almost every rodeo. There's a lot of maintenance I do on my own to keep up with it, working out. A lot of the small things are like I always sit on the left side of a plane. I don't sleep on my right shoulder. I always make sure whatever I do, I don't sleep on the right shoulder. I don't drive with my right arm. I don't lean on my right arm when I drive. There's a whole bunch of things that have just become mindful for me now to save it. Thankfully, I had all this happen before my career started.
Munsell qualified for the National College Finals Rodeo her junior year, where she set an arena record. She qualified again her senior year and won the College National Finals Rodeo in 2019.
And then I started to enter the big ropings, and then it was the American added it, and I got to go to the American, and I won second, and I got paid more than I'd ever been paid, ever thought I would get paid for running one calf in my life. And I was like, hey, I could do this. I could do this in the future. I could make a living with a rope.
She has had an unreal winter run. She wants to carry it into Salt Lake City.
Taylor Munsell took the lead in the go-round as well as performance number 8.
You should be proud of your performance today. 2.4 earlier today, 2.4 again. You're now leading the aggregate.
She just won the Reno Rodeo, 2.8 seconds for Munsell.
Taylor Munsell has gone on to qualify for the National Finals breakaway roping 4 times.
You can have setbacks. There's no certain age you have to start at. I didn't start roping calves. I didn't want a breakaway until I was 20, and before I decided I was going to be serious. And that was after a major shoulder reconstruction and setback. People don't know that side of me. Most people know this side of me. It's cool that I can give that insight to people that are also kind of have the same struggles.
If that doesn't pull on your heartstrings, nothing will. And I just am so proud of her as a fellow athlete, but just more as a person in and out of the arena for being able to share that testament and share their struggles with others. You really don't know where somebody's came from until you learn their backstory.
Yeah, just one of the many inspiring competitors that we're going to feature on our pre-show for the Women's Rodeo World Championship. And we're getting ready to kick that off. Stay with us right here on the Cowboy Channel, round 1 on the other side of this break.
You